Hey everyone, it's Grady from SUBOVERLAND, and in this video I'll be doing a quick little walk around of this Toyota Prius that just rolled in. But let's get right into it. So this is a 2007 Toyota Prius, and it's stock. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by stock? How can they be anything other than stock? Well, we're going to find out. So we're going to put a lift on this thing. This has actually been a project that I've been dreaming about for years. No, but seriously, I love Toyota Priuses, and I've had a bunch of these, and they're just great cars for a lot of different reasons, but mainly for fuel economy. You know, you'll get 40 to 50 miles a gallon out of this bad boy. And it's a really actually fun and nice car to drive. I know they get a lot of crap, and, you know, people will say what they want, but we're going to do a lift on this, and it's provided by Prius Off-Road. So I'll be talking about them here. But I just want to do a quick little, walk around of it in stock form. I think the stock tire size is a 195/65/15 or a 185/65. So here is a stock tire in the front here, and then our Yokohama behind it. So you can see this is a 215, I believe. Where are we at? 215/70/15 is the tire size. On Prius Off-Road's website, this was the biggest tire that you could go. So, of course, that's what we're going to do.
Probably weighs 5 to 10 pounds more than the stock.
5 to 10 pounds more. So you're going to get, some clearance with the tire, and then the lift is like 1.5 inches, I believe. And so we'll be doing that and documenting the video, but I think this is going to be a fun project. And then this particular one is just for a friend that's going to use it to transport like parts. It's going to be this parts runner. He owns a dairy, and so they drive a bunch, but it's good. It's going to save him thousands of dollars a year in fuel to take this versus the truck that they use. But we are going to be doing a camper build too. So I think in this one we're going to take out the seats and everything, and maybe, I don't know, we might make like a wooden platform. I don't know what we'll do yet, but I know we're going to take out that rear seat and see kind of what we're working with. But the next one we do will be lifted and a camper interior. So here's the interior. We just did a quick, ripped out the back seat. And then you have like this cavernous hole right here with the spare. We did a Subaru build probably 5 years ago. It's been a long time. And spare's in the same location. We took it out, and we were able to recess this. Like a fridge was right here. Anyway, maybe I'll leave a link to that video. I think I still have a little video of that. But this will be interesting to see what we do for the camper side of things. So I'm starting in on the Prius lift here finally. And behind me here, I'll go over the parts that I got. So here we have the lift. And I'm not sure what's front and what's rear, so I will have to look that up. But these are the spacers, that go on top of the strut mounts, and it comes with, some hardware there, installation instructions. There we go. I'll read that. A pen, pretty cool. And this is Prius Off-Road is the company, and this video is actually being sponsored by them. They sent us this kit, so thank you at the guys at Prius Off-Road. This is going to be a really fun project. And then on their website, these are the struts that they suggest. I guess this lift is made specifically for the KYB struts. So check that out on if you guys are doing this on your own Prius, but there's some part numbers for that. You can find it on their website. But so these are it's pre-assembled, so it comes with the coil and the whole strut assembly with the shock and everything, and so you don't have to compress the spring on the Prius, even though we could. We have the machine, and it's just a lot easier just to get the whole package. So here we go. And this is the 1.5-inch lift, and this lift also works for Corolla, Matrix, the Toyota Corolla, and then there's a Toyota Matrix and Pontiac Vibe, if you guys are familiar with those. The Matrix and Vibe are cool because they're all-wheel drive. Well, they made all-wheel drive versions from this year range, so I'm actually interested in doing one of those sometime. I think that'd be a cool ride. Okay, so I'm doing the front struts here first. I forgot to video. I just get into the groove and I can't stop myself. But so there's the wiper blades, obviously up top there. So that's what I took off. And so you first start out with the wiper blades. There's 3 14mm nuts. You take out the wiper blades, and then the cowling comes next. There's some plastic pieces over there and there, and then that just kind of like pops up. So those came out like that. You press it on the other side with like either your hands or some other tool, and then this 10mm, a lot of 10mm everywhere, and so I need to take that off, and then that relay will come off, and you can just put it over here, and then that metal base will come off. Okay, so that's off now. Now I have access to these top bolts, and you can go ahead and undo those now, all 6 of those. It looks like it's a 14mm again. All right, so I lied. Now we are down at the bottom here. 17mm sway bar link bolt. Gotta remove that. And then we got those 2. Those are 17s, it looks like also. And then you have right there, that guy, to remove that. And then I'll drop it. I'll lower the vehicle, and I'll do the top 3 12mm bolts. So this 17mm is giving me a little trouble. I should have done this, earlier, but it's always good to put some PB Blaster on everything. These are going to be fine, but that guy's going to be annoying. Sometimes it's quicker just to replace the part. Anyway, so I'm going to grease this up, or put the PB Blaster to this. Hopefully I'll have better luck. If not, I was trying to get my gun, but it's spinning, so we got to put an Allen wrench in there and go for it. Okay, so these are the sway bar links on the front here that you have to remove because they're connected to the strut assembly there. But this one just wasn't coming. There's an Allen right there, a 6mm, and it's just gonna strip out. And so to get these things off, you need a good set of vice grips, which I really don't have. I think tonight I'm gonna go get me a better pair. So you just, you pretty much end up destroying the sway bar link, which is fine. You just order a new set, but it's a little annoying. And so I just, clamped on there. So it was like this essentially, right? And then you just have your 17mm. This link is from the passenger side. I had to cut off this side. So this just wasn't working. Stripped out the Allen inside. So I just had to grab a grinder and cut it off. So just the moral of the story, you know, you just never know what stuff you're going to run into on putting, you know, lifts or, you know, just doing work on cars in general. And so I'm glad I, you know, had the tools here, and we're on our way. All right, so I'm back at the shop. I only had an hour yesterday, so now I'm here. This is the next day in the morning, and I ended up, like I said, cut off those links, and then just removed 2 bolts right there, and then there's a bolt holding those onto the strut itself, and then came up top and 3 bolts right there, and the strut dropped out of there. There it is. And now I'm going to prep the new struts with the spacers. I'm doing the front. This is the front struts, and this is the spacer. So there's an orientation on this, and you have to be really careful about it. And my suggestion is just take your time, read it over and over again. It took me a little bit to figure it all out, and you never want to rush these things, especially when there's alignments and certain things. And so my brain kind of works differently, so I'm having to like turn it upside down. And anyway, so this orientation, so this is the rear of the vehicle, which I think, you know, anyway, my brain works where that should have been the front, and I would have been able to get it faster. But so you put this obviously like so, hard with one hand. So you go like that, and then there's some bolts that are provided, and you know, you tighten these down. I don't know if I'm able to get it with one hand or not, but you tighten them down, and there's an orientation. Okay, that's just gonna have to stay on your 2 hands. But and then after you put this on like this, you can spin the actual shock, like the top hat here. You can spin that into what orientation you need. Both of these arrows need to be pointing towards the passenger side of the vehicle, and you can see the arrow on the top of the vehicle, you know, like through there's a little hole. And it doesn't say to do this, but I always like putting Loctite on things like this, and so I'll just do a little bit of that on each. That was a lot, but I'll do that on each bolt, and I'll even do it on the top once too, just in case. And to tighten these bolts up, it's kind of tough. So, I mean, you can do a lot of different ways. You can clamp it down, you can put it on the ground, you can step on it to get your leverage. But I grabbed Big Wally here, and within those bolts, so it gave me some leverage. And then with my free hand, the one that's my right hand that's filming right now, I tightened it down. That's a 12 millimeter, and so that's how I did this. All right, so here I'm on the driver's side. Another thing I forgot to mention, if you are doing the strut replacement with like the whole assembly here, they are directional also, and so, or you know, to the side. So SR4224 is on driver's side, and then I think it's 225 on the passenger. And then here's a new sway bar links. I got to tighten these up. I already tightened these up, but I grabbed the strut, put it up to the top, and then reached up. I had it lower, and then finger tightened the top bolts, and then slipped these 2 19 millimeters in. Tighten up that, you know, get your ABS and your brake line up there, and then tighten down your sway bar links, and you're onto the back of the car. All right, so here's the rear suspension here. I just put on, this is the passenger side, I just did the driver. And so you have your lift spacer here, You slide it over. So where the existing bolt is where you're going to put that. And then, so that's the configuration. And then they provide a smaller bolt right here that when you're installing it from the bottom, we think, yeah, you just go like through that. So that'll keep it there when you're on the beneath the vehicle, and then you go back into the car and do these bolts. But right now I'm going to put these on those studs, tighten them down, do Loctite, and show you how to do that. This is the back of the Prius right now. So on the side, you have the side panels, and there's, you know, clips up top here, and then a couple screws throughout. So there's, I think, 2 or 3 total, and they're all 10 millimeters. And then same on this side. So you first start out and you take out the plastic thing. So you take out all of this. So you got like a plastic tray, the little side tray things, the carpet on top, and then you take out the sides, and this is the battery, the hybrid battery, and so you take off that. So long story short, there's a lot of disassembly in the back here, and this is the air unit for the battery. Anyway, so there's a bunch of that to go through, but once you're done with that, these are your bolts, studs from the strut. So you have 2 nuts and then 1 on that side too, and then this one's from underneath. So that's a screw coming from underneath, and that's provided by Prius Off-Road because it's a shorter one. And then I have this one removed, but that's what it can look like. And so you're essentially just removing that, going down to the bottom. There's a 17 or 18 millimeter bolt on the bottom of the shock there. You remove that, and then the axle, or whatever you want to call that in the back, that just swings down so you can angle it enough to get the spacer in there. And so it articulates, out, and it's going very smoothly. All right, so here's the install. I'll show you here. So here's the rear strut. This goes up in the hole. That was the wrong direction. Where am I at here? So that goes up there, like so. And then there's a provided screw that goes right there to connect. And then this is pushed like this on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and install the bottom here first. I need to hit that in with a hammer, but at least I got it up there and show you. And then there's this it's a little shorter screw, so it can fit right there. And then, you'll push it up and you'll thread it in there. Pretty slick. But so that's what you're expecting here. And this just will come down, I didn't have to disconnect any lines, brake lines or anything. So here's this Prius with the lift on. We got the front KYB strut assemblies with the spacers. Here's the rear, what it looks like. And then we got some Geolander ATs. These are 215/70/15s on a stock wheel. Pretty excited to drop this thing and see how it looks. I did an oil change while I was underneath it, so I need to put the oil in first. Never forget that. And yeah. So just did the oil change and dropped it down. I'll get a better picture outside here, but pretty happy with how it turned out. I think we got some good clearance compared to stock. All right, so we're here at the Prius, and I am pleasantly surprised. I think this is going to be great. I'm going to go take it for a spin, see if, got everything all tightened down correctly. I double checked, but you just always got to give it a good shakedown. But this is going to be cool. Really happy we went with this. First impressions, I just spun it around our little, we call it our racetrack, but it's around the block. These things are awesome. I mean, I like I said, I've had a bunch of Priuses. I think this is like my fourth one. And family members have had a bunch, so I know my Priuses, I would say. But this is so cool, that this 1.5-inch lift. And I've tried other lift kits for like Subarus in the past and stuff, and they were fine. And they make better ones now for Subarus. Anyway, but I would totally recommend this 1.5-inch for a Prius. I don't know any like fuel economy numbers yet, or everything, but this just makes this car so much better because you've got a little bit better clearance. You don't have to slow down for a pebble in the road, because they just have horrible clearance. Now, you're not going to go off-road this thing like crazy. I mean, some people, I've seen some YouTube, but these just aren't, they're still not made for getting tires off the ground per se and doing all that. But it just makes it a little bit higher, so you can get a little bit better tire. Like, we have an all-terrain tire on here, and gives you that ground clearance, and I think it looks a lot better too. But thanks for watching, and thank you for Prius Off-Road. Great company. And if you guys want to lift your own Prius, or buy a Prius through us that's lifted, or bring us your Prius, you can reach out to us or Prius Off-Road. And again, thanks for watching. This has been a fun little video. But if you haven't subscribed, please do, and we'll catch you on the next one.